Okay, we're going to get started, everybody. Hi, I'm Dr. Nina Cunningham, and I want to welcome you to the Sky is the Limit webinar. Thank you so much for coming. Before we get started, as you can see on the screen, there are a few logistics that I just want to make sure you take note of, and that will be that your audio is going to remain muted throughout the webinar, and your video is also remain private. It is private from all the attendees. What I do want you to be aware of is that you can ask questions. Just type them in the box, the chat box, and I'll be monitoring that or moderating that, but we'll get to them at the end of the presentation, okay? There'll be about 10, maybe 15 minutes for questions. So why are we doing this? Well, we're actually living in some very unprecedented times. I mean, unprecedented and just pretty much uncertain, even an uncertain economy. And so now is the time that people should take control of their financial future. And that control begins first with financial literacy. One of the authors of one of the textbooks that we're using in our course, Young Entrepreneurs 101, lets us know that more important than even making or earning or gaining money is financial literacy. You need the intellect to be able to keep it and to make it work for you. So tonight, our presenter is highly qualified to share his story with you and to explain to you why in this economy right now, the rich are winning and middle class and everybody below pretty much are in a rat race. And then he's also able to show you a proven way to take control of your financial life. So without further ado, and I see we still have people coming in, I want to present to you Willie Pritchett, Jr., Regional Vice President of Primerica.
Great, great. Can everybody hear me?
Type in your chat box, you all. And as a matter of fact, type your name real quick, just your first name, and let us know where you're from. And
okay.
Then be able to see.
All right, everybody can hear me good. You know, as Dr. Nina Cunningham has stated, you know, I have been in business for over 30 years, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I am married. My wife's name is Sarah. I have 3 children, as far as 3 sons that have produced 13 grandchildren. And as Nina has already stated as well, that I started a job many, many years ago, and I quickly understood that 20% of the people do more than what's expected. But I also found out that 60% of the people, they do what they are told to do. And 20% of the people, they just come to work just to get paid. And so in doing that, I found myself in that 20% that did more than what was expected. So as I started to look around and pursue avenues, I found Primerica, and the rest is a blessing in disguise. I was listening to Dr. Nina Cunningham, and she was speaking of even though the sky is the limit, you have to take advantage of the opportunities that's out there and the systems that's available. And so we're going to show you one tonight. I try to tell people, you know, that I don't claim that we are the only great company out there, but I do testify that we are one of them. And we're one in which you should take a close look at. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to, again, pull up my PowerPoint presentation, and hopefully everything go as well as expected. Are we able to, everybody, Nina, are we good?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay, all right. So I want to talk to you tonight concerning Primerica, and we're going to do a different format than what we normally would do. I want to talk to you about the why in life that most people have. You know, why people are broke, why people are poor, why people are you know, just getting by, why people are doing better than most, why people are wealthy. All right. So when you look at the why, you know, the whole thing that I want you to look at tonight is why not me? You know, why don't I have a, go out there and fulfill the goals and dreams in which that I want to pursue for myself at this point? I want you to look at and crystallize this thought in your mind that money without financial, all right, intelligence is money that is soon gone. The only time I tell people money is your friend, and the only time money is not your friend is when you don't have some. You'll quickly find out if you don't know how to treat money, money will leave you and go back to its rightful owner. So in doing that, we have to look at its three mentality types that a person should have. They're going to have either a poverty mentality, some people do. They're going to either have a middle class mentality, and then some are going to have a wealthy mentality. But you're going to have one of those mentalities. And understand this point. The amount of income you make has nothing to do with that mentality that you have. Your mentality is based on what you do with your income. Now, that's a powerful statement, but it's a very true testimony to a lot of people that exist in the business world today. See, what we have to look at is before the how, we need to discuss the why. All right? So let's look at this three types of income. And normally I have people to try to guess this, but for time's sake, we won't do that tonight. So we'll look at a person can make income through wages as hourly wages, or sometimes a person might be an administrator and they would, generate a salary. All right. And then you have business people that understand the value of commission, where they understand you can make more money per client than you can per hour. And so those are the three types that you look at. But you also have to look at some additional ways that you can earn income, which is called portfolio income. So you can have an investment portfolio, you can have a rental property portfolio where you're earning income off of a house that you own and you rent it out. And also you can have what is called passive income. Passive income is income that you earn off of a business. Now, I know some of you all might be screenshotting this and others might be writing this down, but you need to, again, take close attention to all of these points, because, again, you cannot go around them in life. You have to travel and go through them, and you're going to utilize one of these forms of income as you move forward in life. See, wealthy people convert earned income into assets that generate passive and portfolio income. I'll repeat that. Wealthy people convert earned income multiple ways of earned income into assets, all right, that generate passive and portfolio income. So let's look at the assets versus liability, all right? When you look at the cash flow pattern of assets, assets always earn you income. A better way of saying it is assets put money in your pocket. But at the same time, most people, in looking at this, they would look at this and say, well, you know, what about liabilities? Well, we're going to get to that point in a minute. When you look at liabilities, liabilities is nothing more than things that have an expense attached to it, but liabilities take money always out of your pocket. So that's kind of interesting when you look at those 2 points. But you need to have that crystallized while you understand the value of both items that we're speaking of. Now, let's look at a poverty mentality, how the cash flow pattern of most people that think like this, all right, how they operate. Most of them have a job. And having a job, there's nothing wrong with having a job. All right, I was talking to a young man yesterday, and he told me he had 3 jobs. I don't care if you have 3 or 4 jobs. You got to do what you have to do. But the whole thing is this. Most people that have a job understand that they're going to have what? Expenses. All right, everybody have a certain amount of expenses. So the way that a poverty mentality cash flow pattern person think is they understand that they have an uncle called Uncle Sam, which means that you have to pay taxes. They understand that they have to, again, put food on the table for themselves and anybody else that's dependent upon their income. All right, they understand most of them are in a position where they might run at this point because of the amount of income that they're earning. They have to keep clothes on their back. They want to drive and get to from point A to point B, but they're big on having fun. So you might be thinking, well, what about assets and liability? Where poverty people don't think about that. They don't worry about assets because they don't have enough money to generate that. They don't worry about liabilities because most people are not going to give them the credit so that they can, put themselves in a position where they are not comfortable or able to pay that back of the things that they, take advantage of from a liability standpoint. So they're big on, always remember, most poverty mentality people, they're very big on fun, all right? They live for fun, all right? Now, when you look at the middle class mentality cash flow pattern, they operate and have the same expenses that a poverty mentality person have, but the only difference is now because they earn a little bit more income, now they have liabilities. And their liabilities include things like home, all right? They have purchased a house, and so now they have created a home. They have vehicles. They are able to buy some toys, some boats, additional cars. Now the creditors are saying, well, maybe I can extend you a loan as far as so that you can have a car payment. Now I can extend for you some credit so that you can have some credit cards. But with that comes these other items. See, if you have a home, now you're in a position that you have to pay taxes on that home. When you have a home, now you have to have the upkeep of maintenance on that home. When you have a home, now you have the luxury and expense of knowing what a mortgage is all about. You have a mortgage payment. When you have a home, now you have insurance that you have to also pay. So you have mortgage or house insurance, all right? But you're also going to have insurance as far as on the vehicles that you have. But when you have a home, now you're in a position that you are paying your own utilities, all right? Sometimes you might be in a position where you're renting, and the person that you're renting from, they might, if you're in an apartment, they might pay some of the utilities. All depends on the setup. But definitely when you have your own home, you're gonna pay all of those things yourself. So now you see how the liabilities start to stack up on a person. And because a person is not making, an amount of money where they can start to really create a pool of assets, they are in the business of what middle class people think in terms of is how I can go out there and, live a little bit above my means and have things to show versus having assets to build, all right? So it's just a difference in the thinking of that person, and you're going to soon see some other points that come with that. See, a wealthy mentality, a person have this type of cash flow pattern. See, they understand that they're going to generate income, and they understand that they're going to have expenses. But their primary focus is always on how can I create assets? How can I build things like additional businesses? How can I also have, real estate value so that that can bring me a lucrative income? How can I also have investments that can create an investment portfolio? They limit themselves on liabilities because they understand that wealth doesn't come with a lot of liabilities. Wealth comes as far as with them generating assets. So what they look at doing is having, X amount of income that comes in, and they minimize expenses. But in minimizing expenses, they start to put away blocks and blocks of money as far as into assets. And it starts to look something like this, where those assets turn back around on a yearly basis and they create income. And a person that once they get that income in, they reinvest that as far as back into assets. And then it just perpetuates, all right? So they don't worry about, creating things or having a lot of things initially. They know that that'll come at a later date. What they look at is that right now they have to build wealth. Assets always build wealth, all right? Wealthy people buy assets that generates income. So when you look at this, understand, a person might say, what is income? Income can come in a variety of ways. It can come in dividends. It can come with interest, earning you interest on your money. It can come as far as through business income, and as we stated, rental income, and capital gains on your investments. And as you see, expenses is kept to a minimum. Liabilities are kept to a minimum. But a person is always looking at how they can be in business, generate or be in real estate, and have some form of other investments that can create a cash flow that can generate a perpetual income on a yearly basis. All right, so that is very interesting when a person looks at that, because this is how the cycle actually works. So when you look at that, what we want to also look at is investing in liabilities increase your expenses. So a person might say, well, what are you speaking of? I'm speaking of, big homes, nice cars, toys, boats, and bikes. All right. So in doing that, what people sometimes they'll have those additional things, but in having those additional things, that creates quite a bit of expensive. All right. And having those expensive, that limits them to only a small volume of income. All right. So we want to make sure, as far as that, with that being the case, that a person understand the value of everything that is being put before them over a period of time. See, middle class people, they're gonna think a little bit different, but they are still gonna have what? Liabilities. They're still gonna have what? Expenses. They just have a little bit more money to operate, but still, nevertheless, they have more money going for expenses than going towards assets. All right, that's the difference in the thinking of a middle class person when it comes to a financial statement overall. All right, always look and see what type of assets, an accountant or what a business person would look at is, all right, what type of assets you have. All right. See, if you're going to be in business, most business people understand that over a period of time, they got to create they got to create assets. All right. Wealthy mentality is when they look at their financial statement, they're generating income, but most of the income that they are generating puts them in a position where they are living lean and mean. And again, quite a bit of income is being pursued as far as into assets. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. All right. Now, always remember this, based on everything that I have covered thus far tonight. Wealthy people will always buy some form of assets. Wealthy people will buy some form of assets. Poor only have expenses. And one reason is because they're not making enough money. So the only thing that they can do is just pay bills, pay bills, pay bills. All right? Middle class people buy liabilities. Liabilities are things that they still owe on. All right? So they are loaned to them for a period of time, but until they actually have the deed or the title or they're paid off, then again, they are liability. So middle class people buy liabilities thinking that they are assets, but they're not. All right? So when you're building assets, always remember that assets come in these forms. They come in the form of real estate. All right? So your person might be thinking, that I plan on, acquiring a house or buying, several houses. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Real estate is one. A person might say, what about investments? Well, yes, you need to have investments that you have to work for money for a period of time, and you want money working for you. All right. So investments is another key portfolio that a person should have at all times. All right. And they should start early. Okay. the sooner the better as far as when you look at investment. But always remember, all right, that the biggie of the three is business, all right? And a person should have some ideal or some passion that they can devote X amount of attention to, in addition to having fun and everything else that they want to do in life, that they can go out there and they can win with a passion of something that they want to do in business. So as I start to wrap up, I want you to understand, even though I didn't talk a lot really on the points of Primerica, but I want you to understand this. I'm gonna cover just a couple of points here. What makes Primerica successful? What makes us even successful? Because that's a company that I started with over 30 years ago. And then I'm gonna turn this over back to Dr. Cunningham. One of the things that I looked at was a very low cost. I made a very low cost. I made an investment in me just to get my license. Because basically, my whole thing is that I felt that I could, at least pursue and put an investment in me, all right, that I was an asset. All right, so I wanted to go out there and prove that I can go out there and acquire some license that puts me in a legal position that I can go out there and talk to people. So Primerica gave us a chance, that gave me a chance that I could do that with a very low cost. A financial needs analysis, all right? Again, some of the things in which that you're learning as far as with Dr. Nina Cunningham, all right? When you look at finances, always remember as far as that at some point in time, you're gonna have to build a financial house. You're gonna have to understand income protection. You're gonna have to understand dealing with wills. You're gonna have to understand as far as, having an emergency fund. You're gonna have to understand as far as generating, getting out of debt, starting to build a retirement portfolio. If you have children, starting to set aside money for college. And then you're gonna have goals and dreams that you wanna pursue, and you're gonna need to have some additional money that you can pursue those things. So a financial needs analysis cover those points. Then you got to look at, education versus sales. Now, all business have a selling point as far as over a period of time. A selling point is nothing but a value that another person see a benefit in, and they take advantage of that. That's all it is, all right? It's not high pressure. It's not beating a person over the head. It's a person see a need to take advantage of something that has value that they are in need of, and they go ahead and they acquire that, all right? That's what a sale is, but you have to look at education is the key, all right? People perish because of lack of knowledge. And so when you look at that, understand that there's a huge market and a huge need out there for what we are doing here today. See, understand the financial sector of business is booming. It's exploding, all right? And I try to tell a person, I said, look, I don't wish no bad luck on nobody. It might be a pandemic out there, but for a lot of, for a lot of us, it's a pandemic, because basically we're in a position that, a lot of things that we are doing, we have been able to capitalize and do it as far as through, again, through webinars and things that like we're going through today, and we are talking to people all across the country now, all right? That's amazing. You look at, there's no territories or quotas. I'm in a position I can talk to people now in all 50 states. all right, even Canada now, North America. I have all of that up under my hat right now, that I have access to talk to people, you know, based on building a relationship with, and they like and trust and understand I know what I'm talking about. Then, you know, again, I can gain them as a client. All right, no territory restriction. And then over a period of time, showing people how they can have a residual income. All right, residual income is through business, and again, putting a person in a position where they have what is called residual income. It's another form of passive income, all right, that a person needs to have. And so the main thing that I try to tell a person now is that, you know, they can look at us from a standpoint of a highly profitable financial service business that a person can work from home, and in the next 30 days, all right, I can probably get a person up and going, all right, with little to no business experience, all right. That is incredible when you look at from a part-time standpoint. The next thing is this, and Dr. Cunningham has stated this, but we're looking for hungry young entrepreneurs, not employees. All right. See, an entrepreneur is saying that, hey, I see an opportunity and I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna take advantage of it. All right. And again, opportunities sometimes they come and go. I try to tell a person, is this your first opportunity or is this your last? But understand, you know, that you should take advantage of an opportunity. I think the last thing is this. You have to look at, you know, we have a compensation that is designed for growth. It's designed for growth. It's designed that basically as a person come in here and they follow a blueprint. I try to tell a person that I have a simple fast start blueprint. Even if a person can only start on a part-time basis, if they come in here and follow the blueprint, then basically, you know, we can show them some form of success. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this back over to Dr. Cunningham. Nina Cunningham, I can put up, Dr. Cunningham, I can put up my phone number if you wanted me to, and I don't, if that'll be okay.
Sure. You can put it up while I see one question. I'm not sure how many others, but I do, and I can just, because I also had it on that first slide too, but let me come out of here.
Okay.
Didn't mean that
I
one.
think if I come out, okay. I thought I had it handy, but I saw it didn't. Let me see. Maybe I can
Oh,
do it.
I'll do it with my screen share. But we do,
Okay.
yeah, because I have it there. But we had one question I know already, and the question was, can the slides, will the,
Okay.
so it's there on the bottom of that. Can everybody see that? You can just, you know, click it. Can you see my screen, Willie?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I got right. I see it now. Good. We're
Okay.
good.
So she asked about the slides. Will the slides, your slideshow, be available for attendees?
As far as for them
They want a copy of it. I'm asking her to unmute. Okay. So, Alexis,
Oh, yes.
yes, your question was, did you want the actual PowerPoint or would you like a copy of the slides?
Oh, just a copy of the slides, if those would be available for study and review, just to be able to look over those.
Okay, so Willie, that's on you. I mean,
Yes, so definitely I can do that. I can do that for her. You know, and what I'm saying is, you know, those and that's a very good point. But if anyone else would want those, I would make it available as far as to Dr. Cunningham, and then you know, she would actually be able to, you know, you can actually get them from her as well.
okay, so and if anybody wanted, just put your in the chat box, put your email address, and then I'll get a copy of it to you.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
And I'm looking in there again to see. Anyone else have any questions? Any clarity?
You know, I want to say one point while you know, we might get another question. When you look at business, a lot of times people they have the wrong perception of business. People are look at it and feel that, you know, there's a certain amount of skepticism, and there's a certain amount of self-esteem, where that self-esteem might be low. And then a person might look at, I don't have the experience. Well, understand, most business people that have won at anything, they failed a number of times. Once they failed, they just again fell down and dust themselves off and pursue a mission of, I'm going to achieve a certain goal. And so we want you, at least, you know, my point in talking to you today, I want you to understand that it's nothing wrong with, you know, having a goal or a dream or a passion or want to go in business, and you're going to have critics that tells you that not to do it, all right, for a variety of reasons. And a lot of times the reason is because they're not willing to, you know, pursue their goals and dreams. And if you pursue yours and hit it, it makes them look slightly bad. All right. So it's kind of like they have a crab mentality, that they want to hold you down, even though you have the desire that you want to push yourself up. So I'm just saying, again, in closing with this point, that, you know, always, you know, aim for the sky. You know, I like the title that Ms. Cunningham have here. You know, the sky is the limit, which it is. Shoot for the
Alexis
stars.
does have another question. It was wealth management for clients who have the wealth and knowledge, but need the human resources to help manage it. We're looking for someone integral to partner with us in that way. Do you offer wealth management services?
Yes, I mean, we do have a service where we work with a person as far as with wealth management. Matter of fact, you know, we give wealth management seminars as far as for local businesses that have, you know, key man and, you know, small group, and just show them how they can, again, start to understand and build collective wealth over a period of time. That's again, everybody have a different portfolio, and have a different outlook when it comes to that. So we would have to sit down with a person, see where they're at this point in time in their life, and then what's more important, where they want to be, how long it's going to take, you know, what time span they get themselves to get to that where they want to be. And then, you know, we actually look at the dash in between. as far as what we have to work with, and from that standpoint, we can determine if some of the goals and dreams of wealth is it realistic or not. So it's a lot of things that come to play, but definitely that's something that we can look at.
Okay. All right. Great. Let's see.
And again,
What assets?
you have my number, so you can give me a call, and
Yes.
as well I can give you a call.
Okay. This is another question. What assets could we look at acquiring now?
All right. Always, when you look at
It said, I'm sorry, Willie. It said starting out with like minimum income. What assets could we look at acquiring now?
well, when you look at when you look at the things that we are talking about, a person has to sit out and understand how to build a financial house. How to build a financial house. If you have a pencil and paper, I can just kind of like I do this all the time. I can just tell you the principles of building a financial house right off the top of my head. The foundation should always be protecting income protection, meaning that death doesn't take a holiday. All right. See, no matter if it's hot, cold, raining, cloudy outside, snowing, wind blowing or not, approximately in the United States, 7,800 people die per day. And in doing that, if they got the COVID or not, they're gonna die. So my point is, what we do is sit down and make sure a person has a proper income protection in place first. That's the foundation. So you got time to get out of debt if God give you the longevity for that. You got time maybe to build up, some retirement or some residual income. But we don't know the date, the time, or the hour of maybe our dismissal from the physical time side of life. So don't take no chance on that. That's first rule number one. Along with that is you put a will in place. All right. Because see, if you don't put a will in place, in whatever state you're in, the state will do what they want to do. And they will take a third of whatever possessions that you have, and they will leave your estate with 2/3. All right. So that's just, like a bad money decision if a person have any asset. The third thing with that is then you look at, a responsible person will have auto insurance, home insurance, things of that nature. Always remember, responsible people take care of responsibilities first, then have fun. Nothing wrong with having fun, but take care of your responsibilities first. Give me a minute, Sister Dr. Cunningham. The second thing to that, that's the foundation. The second principle is that you need to have an emergency fund. All right, emergency fund is just saying things gonna come up all the time. All right, I was talking to some people that's looking at the pandemic today, and the number one crisis that's in dealing with the pandemic today is unexpected expenses. All right. Now we got a number of crises out there, but their whole thing was that stuff happen all the time. And I'm like, that's right. That's a part of life. So when you look at it, you got to have money set aside for a rainy day. All right. Rule number 3, or step number 3 is debt. Put yourself in a position that you control debt and debt doesn't control you. So we sit down and we start to put blocks and measurements in place where a person understands as far as how they can take control of that situation. All right, it took you more than one day to get in debt. Surely it's going to take you more than one day to get out, but you can get a handle on it. All right, rule number 4, and this is part what a person is looking at, is then you start to look at assets, all right, building assets. The way you build assets, always remember 50% of your money should be in assets that are called, like a money market, money that, you have set aside as far as for short-term needs, all right? That's 50% of your money. Then you have another 25% set aside as far as for things that you might want to purchase, like a car or putting a down payment down on a house, and you put 25% of your money into that, and then 25% goes into retirement. So for every dollar that you put away, it's calculated that 50% go in one account, 25% go in another account, 25% go into a third account. So you need to have 3 accounts in addition to a checking account over here when you're talking about, having, setting up uh, investments for yourself so that you don't rob Peter to pay Paul. You shouldn't have to go into your retirement account as far as to get your car fixed, or in order as far as to buy a refrigerator, or to get a stove or wash and dry. All right. So again, we get that calculated, and then you have college education. If you have children, you set money aside for that, and then again, it should be no shame in no one's game if they have to get a second job or a third job to supplement their income, and then you start looking at goals and dreams. All right. So I go through that on a weekly basis with families and businesses. I'm dealing with now the city of Gary. They finally have me to come in, and what I'm explaining to you this week, I just explained as this to the transportation department, because again, they sought me out and said, Willie, you come here with high regards, all right, talk to us concerning our money. And what I just showed you, that was the rule number 1. I had to start with them.
Okay, good. So yeah, one more question. It says, is there a way for me to give or direct someone to this information that you gave today, or should they give them your email or a telephone number?
Yes, if you would give me a courtesy call on my number 219-488-7630, or you can call me, or if you feel comfortable, you can text me. All right, I started laughing at that because it took me a while to adjust the text and emails, because again, at my age, sometimes people have a slight challenge as far as being reformed, but I'm pretty good at some of that stuff now. But I'll tell you this: text me or call me, whatever you feel that's more comfortable for you, and I would appreciate as far as if you were to send somebody my way, that maybe I can, direct them or help them as far as with some financial information or value.
Okay. Well, we did good. We just about a minute after 7. And I thank you all for hanging in here for the whole time. I think it was valuable information. I'm really hoping that you do as Antonio wants to share it with others. So I will see to it that you get a copy. It will be probably in the form of PDF, so I can, take the PowerPoint and just copy the slides and get that to you since you did come tonight. I really appreciate you, Willie, for taking out your time to do this. Because this is being recorded, so I'll be able to again play this over our courses, or I may be able to, if it's okay with you, we'll talk about it, upload it to my YouTube channel and put it out there. And then your information
that'll be fine.
Okay, good. Your information will be down below and others can see it. So thank you all so much for coming out on a Friday night. I really appreciate it. You all didn't do what Willie said most people do who are in financial need, go have fun. Instead,
Right.
you came, instead you came here. So thanks so much. And I got family on here, so I really appreciate family. They always are supportive. Take care. If any other questions, you got the information. It's on the slide. I think it's still there. Just,
Yes, just give me a
just
call.
give me a call.
Give me a
And,
call, and Alexis, I'll talk to you soon. But hey, give me a call, and I will be more than happy to follow up with you. All right, be blessed, and thanks again for allowing me to be on program tonight.
okay, thank you. And good night, everybody.